Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as you can see that basically in this lecture, we are going to start with the World Bank, IMF, IDA, ADB, NDB, AIIB. So many times you have heard about these things. Okay, like if you are following the current affairs, if you are watching the news, then you must be the one who has heard about these names like World Bank, IMF, IDA, ADB, NDB, AIIB. Have you ever thought that why these names flourish in the international financial system? Why we heard about them? So all these things are going to be understandable in this lecture because we are going to unfold the relationships between the World Bank, IMF, IDA, ADB, NDB, AIIB. What are these organizations? And once we will know about them, then it is easy for us to conclude that why the names of these organizations flourishes in the international financial news. Okay. In this lecture, we are going to talk about the World Bank, IMF, which stands out for the International Monetary Fund, IDA, ADB, New Development Bank, in short NDB, AIIB, and at last we will see the summary of all of these. But before starting the actual topic, there is a small disclaimer like as usual, which we are required to understand first, right? So a disclaimer is like, the images used in our slide deck are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this deck and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathee@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. Now, first organization that we are going to talk about is the World Bank. It is a vital source of financial and technical assistance to developing countries around the world. By its name, you could conclude that it is the World Bank, which means it is not only particularly limited to one country. It is basically for all the countries, specifically targeting the developing countries, because developing countries are those countries which are building themselves, right? And in order to build themselves, they require the financial and technical assistance that is being provided by the World Bank. It comprises the 5 institutions managed by their member countries. Like you can say, they are the 5 institutions that actually works under the World Bank, and the member countries of World Bank are the stakeholders to maintain these 5 institutions. If we talk about the establishment of World Bank, like when the World Bank was established, so that was established in the year of 1944. Okay. This is the same year, or you can say 1 year ahead of the ending of Second World War, which started from 1939 to 1945. Prior to the ending of Second World War, in 1944, the World Bank got established. If we talk about the headquarters of World Bank, the headquarters of World Bank are in Washington, D.C., which is the capital of United States of America. Okay. It is made up of 189 member countries. David Malpass is the 13th president of the World Bank Group. It is highly advisable to all of you. Kindly keep yourself updated with this, because the presidential position of World Bank Group is not static. It is dynamic. People, or you can say person, elected to the World Bank Group as a president for some limited time period. After this, the person will be changed. So that's why these names could be changed over the period of time. You are required to follow this closely. The World Bank Group set 2 goals for the world to achieve by 2030. First is end extreme poverty by decreasing the percentage of people living on less than $1.90 a day to more than $3 a day. Okay. Second is promote shared prosperity by fostering the income growth of the bottom 40% for every country. So these are the 2 goals that are being set up by the World Bank for the world to achieve by the year of 2030. The World Bank is different from the World Bank Group, an extended family of 5 international organizations, which you can see here. First is IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Second is IDA, the International Development Association. Third is IFC, the International Finance Corporation. Fourth is MIGA, Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency. Last one is ICSID, International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes. So these are the 5 different international organizations that are working under the World Bank. Okay, and these are different from the World Bank Group. Okay, again you can see their names: IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development; IDA, the International Development Association; IFC, the International Finance Corporation; MIGA, Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency; ICSID, International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes. Okay. Now let's see the quick facts. World Bank got formed on July 1945. Okay, and headquarters in Washington DC, US. If we talk about the membership specifically, so there are total 189 countries in IBRD, 173 countries in IDA. David Malpass is the president. Kristalina Georgieva is the CEO. Penny Goldberg is the chief economist. Again, I'm telling you the same thing. Kindly keep yourself updated with these names because these names are not static. These names could be changed over the period of time because the person elected to these positions in the World Bank for certain time period only. Once the time period is over, the person will get changed. Okay. Now we have the IMF. It stands out for International Monetary Fund. So basically that was convinced at a UN's conference in Bretton Woods, United States in July 1944. UN stands out for United Nations. So there was a conference of United Nations that was going on in Bretton Woods. It is a place in the United States where the foundation of International Monetary Fund was laid down. And that was the time of July 1944. If we talk about the memberships, total 189 countries are the member of IMF. Like the World Bank, the IMF also headquartered in the Washington DC. Okay. If we talk about the original aims, like you can say why the IMF was set up. Alright. And remember all these organizations which I have told you, like the World Bank, IMF, IDA, ADB, NDB, AIIB, these all are having the same sector, financial sector. Okay. But their works and their purposes are different from each other. Okay. That's why we required a different sector organizations. Okay. So if we talk about the IMF, what were the original aims of the IMF? The first aim was to promote international monetary cooperation. Okay. Like monetary means money cooperation or financial cooperation at the international level. That is to be promoted by the IMF first. Second, to facilitate the expansion and balanced growth of international trade. Like for the global development, it is, you can say, required to ensure the international trade must be go on with the smooth phase. Okay. And it also be expanded. So that's why facilitating the expansion and balanced growth of international trade, that was another aim of the International Monetary Fund. Third is to promote exchange stability. Okay. Exchange stability means like every country having its own currency, and it is required and essential for the countries to make exchange stability on the prior basis so that the traders of different countries could trade with each other without having any tension of the currency system. Okay. Fourth is to assist in the establishment of a multilateral system of payments. Okay. Then make resources available with adequate safeguards to promote members experiencing balance of payment difficulties. Okay. Like those members which are having the difficulties of balance of payment. It means that they imported items or goods and services of several worth, and now they are unable to repay the you can say amount they had generated by importing them. Okay, so to facilitate them by providing the monetary assistance so that the member countries could pay their bills. Thereafter, the IMF's fundamental mission is to ensure the stability of international monetary system. It does so in three ways. First, it keeps the track of the global economy and the economies of member countries. Like many times you can see, the IMF publishes a report of best performers, like the economy wise. This country economy is best performing, this is second, this is third, fourth, this kind of list. Also, they publish the list of poor performers. Like this country economy is performing very poor, this is worse, this is you can say somewhat good and better, this kind of list. Second way that it occupies is lending to countries with balance of payment difficulties. It means that suppose if there is one country XYZ, this country had imported goods and service of worth $100 billion. Okay. Now the country has only $50 billion to pay for the goods and services which it had imported. Now the rest $50 billion will be given to that country as a loan by the IMF, so that the country must have the sufficient funds to meet its balance of payments requirements. And the third is giving practical help to the members. Like in order to make effective economic policy and all, the member countries will be helped by the IMF. Surveillance. The IMF oversees the international monetary system and monitors the economic and financial policies of its 189 member countries in order to pre-identify if there anything could be happen. Like you can say, if international monetary system is performing in a way that could be dangerous in the future, then the IMF must be able to track it down and also informing the same to the member countries so everyone could be prepared. Similarly, the member countries' economic and financial policies must be surveillanced by the IMF so that the IMF could predict that in which direction the country is going. Okay. Lending. A core responsibility of the IMF is to provide loans to the member countries experiencing actual or potential balance of payments problems. Now here you can say two words have been used, actual or potential. What are the difference between them? Now let us understand this with an example. There is a country XYZ. In the first quarter, like you can say in financial year, there are the 4 quarters of 3 months, because 4 into 3, 12 months. 12 months are in the year. So there are 4 quarters, each of 3 months. In first quarter, the country imported goods and services of worth 100 crores. In first quarter, they paid the actual amount. Okay, $100 billion they had paid. Second quarter, they imported the items of 150 billion US dollars, but they had only 100 billion US dollars to pay, which means there is a deficit of $50 billion to that country in order to repay the payments for the imported goods or services. So that is the actual, which means currently the country is experiencing difficulties in balance of payments because the countries do not have the fund, right? What is the potential? Potential means right now the country do not have any this kind of situation. In the coming future, the country could have this kind of situation. Again, I'm repeating. Right now, the country is not having this kind of situation. In coming future, the country could have this kind of situation. For example, out of these 4 quarters, in first 2 quarters, the country economy is performing well. So they paid the amount for the imported goods and services. In third quarter, the country economy is not that much capable to generate the revenue for the government to repay the money for the goods and services. Okay. So now what you can say? You can say the country started struggling in order to repay the loan, in order to repay the payments for the importing goods. This is a potential. In third quarter, if they are experiencing this thing, it is obvious, or it is potentially obvious, that in the last or the fourth quarter, the country will have a definite issue in balance of payment. Because in the preceding quarter, the country started experiencing the struggle in order to generate the revenue. Okay. So these two kinds of balance of payment problem, actual, which is currently being faced by the country, potential, that is the beginning of the problem. Okay. Management. So the IMF has a managing director who is the head of the staff and chairperson of the executive board. The managing director is appointed by the executive board for a renewable term of 5 years. Got it? Quick facts. Headquarters are at Washington, D.C., United States. Managing director is Christine Lagarde. Again, I'm saying the same thing. Kindly keep yourself updated with this because this is not permanent, this is dynamic. Okay. It is founded on 27 December 1945. Bretton Woods, Carroll, New Hampshire, United States. Formation also happened on the same day. Founders 1, John Maynard Keynes, Henry Dexter White. These were the main pioneers of the IMF. Now we have the IDA. So first question is, what is IDA? IDA stands out for the International Development Association, which is the part of the World Bank that helps the world's poorest countries. The countries which are not that much healthy, so that's why they are considered as the world's poorest countries. Overseen by 173 shareholder nations, IDA aims to reduce the poverty by providing the loans called credits and grants for programs that boost economic growth, reduce inequalities, and improves the people's living conditions. IDA complements the World Bank's original lending arm, the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, IBRD. IDA is one of the largest sources of assistance for the world's 75 poorest countries, 39 of which are in Africa. That's why Africa is also called as the poor continent, because maximum countries in Africa, these are considered as the poorest countries, and is the single largest source of donor funds for basic social services in these countries. Thereafter, IDA is a multi-issue institution supporting a range of development activities that pave the way toward the equality, economic growth, job creation, higher incomes, and better living conditions. Got it? Quick facts about the IDA. Again, the IDA headquarters in the Washington, D.C. in United States. Talking about the membership, 173 countries are the member of IDA. That was founded little later in 1960. Current leader is Christina Georgieva. Again, that is the dynamic position that could be changed in future. That's why keep yourself updated with this. Purpose is providing a development aid and poverty reduction. Got it? Now the ADB. ADB stands out for Asian Development Bank. Okay. It was conceived in the early 1960s as a financial institution that would be in Asia in character and foster economic growth and cooperation in one of the poorest regions in the world. Like you can say, Asia also having several poorest regions in the world. Apart from Asia, the ADB also lends out the money to the countries or regions which lie in the different continents. The Philippines capital Manila was chosen to host the new institution, which opened on 19 December 1966 with 31 members that came together to serve a predominantly agricultural region. Like you can say, first, the ADB was established in order to finance the predominantly agricultural region. Takeshi Watanabe was the ADB's first president. This name is important. Okay, that could be asked in the examination. Who was the first president of ADB? Remember, Takeshi Watanabe. During the 1960s, the ADB focused much of its assistance on food production and rural development. From 31 members at establishment in 1966, the ADB has grown to encompass 67 members, of which 48 are from within Asia and the Pacific and 19 outside. Okay. Now about ADB. It was established as a financial institution that would foster economic growth and cooperation in Asia Pacific region. Okay. Assist members and partners by providing loans, technical assistance, grants, and equity investments to promote social and economic development. It is also headquartered in Manila, Philippines. Got it? Quick facts. Was formed on 19 December 1966. Headquarters in Manila, Philippines. Membership 67 countries. President is Takiko Nakao. He was the president. Okay. Now we have NDB or New Development Bank. At the 4th BRICS Summit in New Delhi 2012, the leaders of BRICS stands out for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They considered the possibility of setting up a new development bank so that they could mobilize the resources in order to provide for the infrastructure and sustainable development projects in BRICS and other emerging economies, as well as in developing countries. The leaders then agreed on the feasibility of establishing the new development bank and made the decision to do so. During the 6th BRICS Summit in Fortaleza 2014, the leaders signed the agreement establishing the new development bank. NDB will strengthen the cooperation among BRICS and will supplement the efforts of multilateral and regional financial institutions for global development, thus contributing to collective commitments for achieving the goals of strong, sustainable, and balanced growth. The bank shall have an initial authorized capital of $100 billion. Initial subscribed capital shall be $50 billion, equally shared among founding members. The first share of the board of governors shall be from Russia. First share of the board of directors shall be from Brazil. First president of the bank shall be from India. The headquarters of the bank shall be located in Shanghai. The inaugural meeting of the board of governors of the NDB was chaired by Russia and held on the eve of the UFA summit on 7th July 2015, when the bank formally came into existence as a legal entity. During the meeting, the appointment of the president, Mr. K.V. Kamath, as well as 4 vice presidents and the board of directors took place. At the signing of the headquarters agreement with the government of People's Republic of China and the memorandum of understanding with the Shanghai Municipal People's Government on 27 February 2016, the NDB became fully operational. Countries shareholding at the new NDB. If we talk about Brazil, number of share 1 lakh, shareholding 20%, voting rights 20%. Russia 1 lakh, shareholding 20, voting rights 20. India 1 lakh, shareholding 20%, voting rights 20%. China 1 lakh, shareholding 20%, voting rights 20%. South Africa 1 lakh, shareholding 20%, voting rights 20%. Unallocated shares 5 lakhs, shareholding 100%, voting rights 20%. Grand total is 10 lakh, shareholding 20% and voting rights 10%. Quick facts: the NDB, formally referred to as the BRICS Development Bank, is a multilateral development bank established by the BRICS states, headquartered in Shanghai, China. President is K.V. Kamath. Again, that could be changed. It's a dynamic position. Founders: BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. First president, as we discussed, is K.V. Kamath. AIIB The Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank is a multilateral development bank with a mission to improve social and economic outcomes in Asia, even beyond the Asia. Headquartered in Beijing, China, commenced operation in January 2016. AIIB offers sovereign and non-sovereign financing for sound and sustainable projects in energy and power, transportation and telecommunication, rural infrastructure and agriculture development, water supply and sanitation, environmental protection, and urban development and logistics. Quick facts. The AIIB means Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank is a multilateral development bank that aims to support the building of infrastructure in the Asia Pacific region. Headquarters Beijing, China. Membership 64 members, 22 prospective members. Formation 16 July 2016. President is Jean Lukin. Again, that could be changed. Dr. G.J. Pandian, VP and Chief Investment Officer. Now it's part for the summary. World Bank Group established in 1944, headquartered in Washington, D.C. Members 189 members. Current President David Malpass, that could be changed. Goals and extreme poverty, reduce those living on less than 1.90 day to 3%. Promote shared prosperity, increase economic growth for the bottom by 40%. Components: IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction Development, IDA, International Development Association, IFC, International Financial Corporation, MIGA, Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, ICSID, International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes. International Monetary Fund, IMF, established December 27, 1945 at Bretton Woods. Headquarters, Washington, D.C. Managing Director, Christine Lagarde, that could be changed. Members, 189 members. Function, surveillance, lending, original aims. Then we talk about International Development Association. Part of World Bank, focus on the world's poorest countries, established in 1960. Total members are 173. Leader is Kristalina Georgieva. Purpose is providing loans and grants to reduce poverty and improving living conditions. ADB, Asian Development Bank, established on December 19, 1966 in Manila, Philippines. Members 67 countries. Current President Takehiko Nakao. Focus, foster economic growth and cooperation in the Asia Pacific region. NDB, established, formally launched in 2015 during the BRICS Summit, headquarters Shanghai, China. First President KV Kamath. Purpose, mobilize sources for infrastructure and supplement development in BRICS and other emerging economies. Shareholding, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa each hold 20% of shares. Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, established 16 January 2016, headquarters Beijing, China. Current President Jean Lukin. Focus, financing sustainable infrastructure projects across Asia and beyond. Members, 64 member countries, 22 prospective members. Key points for studies. And now we have finished this lecture. It is requested to all of you, kindly revise all the facts and figures that all we have discussed in this lecture and keep yourself ready for the next lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture and thank you.